Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. So, one of those dreams I think that I've had and lots of people have had is to go to Cannes and the film festival and all the parties and watch the films and see the stars and have a lot of the fun. Well, a friend of mine who's a very successful international award-winning public relations individual publicist, etc., Tracy Lamourie, has recently spent the last 2 weeks at Cannes, and so I thought we'd check in and find out how were the parties, how was the fun, how was the business.
Oh,
Tracy, welcome to the show.
hi, amazing. Hello, Canada, from over here on the French Riviera.
You're in the French Riviera right now.
Yeah, we just came off of 11 days in Cannes. The Cannes Film Festival closed out today, and we are now in Nice, which is right between Cannes and Monte Carlo, Monaco. And what a lot of people do after Cannes, all the film people, is they go an hour down the Riviera to Monaco for the famous Grand Prix that's happening starting tomorrow.
Well, I was found that the beaches in Cannes were sandy and wonderful, and Nice were all rocky.
Yeah, exactly. Weird, eh? Yeah, like
So
Malta, rocky beaches.
So tell me what's going to Cannes and working Cannes like?
Yeah, incredible experience. I mean, Cannes is like nothing else. Unlike every other film festival in the world, it truly is old Hollywood and really holds on to that old glamour. You see men walking down the street in tuxes, women in full ballroom gowns, trailing behind them on the regular in Cannes, as well as military police trying to keep everybody at bay and all that other stuff. So it's pretty interesting. Working at Cannes, the part that you don't see, I was on the red carpet, so the part that you do see is the red carpet. I was honored to be on the red carpet on opening night. You know, I always joke that I only go there because it's the biggest red carpet in the world, the most iconic red carpet in the world. And it is an honor and a privilege and difficult to get on, but I was able to do that on opening night, so that's great. But the Marche de Film is the other side of Cannes, which is hard business. I'd love business and investors and everybody to realize what actually goes on beyond the sparkle and flash and glitz and glam at Cannes, which what most industry people are actually excited about. That's different from TIFF or from any other film festival is you have to be accredited to be at Cannes. It's a very serious accreditation process. And once you're past those, you know, the barrier, you're in with everybody. So every filmmaker, every actor, you're just literally in there. And what happens in the Marche de Film is over $6 billion of film deals are made. And that's where people go to get the funding for their films. As a publicist, and now I'm an co-executive producer on a legacy Phil Hartman project with his brother Paul Hartman, where he's trying to get a documentary made out of the only 45 minutes of unedited footage that exists anywhere from Phil Hartman's stuff. So that is an example. We're taking that project to Cannes, like a million people are bringing their projects here to try to get funding to hook up with investors who are interested in helping complete film projects. Once the project is completed, the next year it comes to Cannes as a finished product in the market. And that's where all the buyers and sellers will go and watch it. And it's up for, you know, everybody from Netflix to your local screen, Cineplex, and that's where they all buy it. So it's a two-part process. People come here to meet the investors to get their stuff made. And then we come back to sell the finished product to the buyers. And then you guys get to see it.
What a fascinating experience that you've had.
Incredible. And also, I mean, you just can't explain on the ground at Cannes. Everything changes from 1 minute to the next. We laugh, you know, it's almost like it's the second year at Cannes, and it becomes like a big, as intimidating as you think it is the first year. By the second year, you know, if you're a genuine person that makes friends, you know, you've got all your crew and you've got, it's almost, we joke that it's like a big celebrity summer camp, because by the
Celebrity
second year,
summer camp.
it really is. And an aside to that, one of the biggest things at Cannes is the pajama party. And it is one of the hottest tickets. And you legit, it's not no sexy wear. They make it very clear you have to wear literally like a two-piece pajamas or a onesie. And that came about 10 years ago because Maxime Jago and his business partner, who are like hugely well known at all the film festivals and everything, I guess they were going up in their elevator, their condo one night. And everybody who's been to Cannes gets this, tired of all the glitz and the glam and everything's, you know, black tie and everything else. And I guess one of them joked to the other, you know, we should have a pajama party. And they said, ha, 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 ha. And that year they did at the condo. And 10 years later, it's become one of the biggest things. I mean, full Getty photographers are there. It's super celebrity. The champagne flows all night. But instead of being in our tuxes and finery, we have to be in, you know, like pajama wear. And the funny thing was, you know, Dave doesn't wear pajamas. He wears like underwears and a robe. And I usually just wear like a t-shirt like this one or something. but that's not, so we literally got we thought, oh, we're not going to get an invite to that. We're not going to, and literally that night we got a personal invite from Maxime, who had met me online before. And he said, we'd love to welcome you and Dave. So we were running, it was a Ascension Day in France, it was a holiday, about an hour and a half before the stores closed. But we knew where like one sort of department storage thing was among all the designer stores in Cannes. And we thought, there's no way. We went in, not only, I had to get something red, not just pajamas. I luckily found pajamas with
Awesome.
little red hearts on them. I'm wearing the pants to show you. And Dave had the offer. So yeah, we found our pajama party wear, which is vital to be dressed appropriately at Cannes, and got to that party. And there were Getty photographers taking pictures and everything. So we're immortalized in Getty in the jammies that we bought in Cannes for the party.
Fantastic. What an experience. So tell me, what brought you to Cannes? Are you there publicizing something in specific?
Yeah, well, a bunch of different things. When I come to Canada, it's such a really meeting place where you meet everybody about everything for future and current projects. So I'm really here on the ground to aid all my existing clients, to find future clients, and then also now that I'm a producer as well as a publicist, which essentially means you are the connector that brings the money in to get the projects finished. So I'm here at Cannes specifically with Paul Hartman's project, Phil Hartman's Flat TV, which we have a new demo reel for now. And if Phil Hartman was extremely well loved in the industry, and obviously he's a Canadian legend. So that project is available right now. If somebody wants to jump in and help us get that finished and help us bring that to Cannes next year, it's an amazing entry into this world that I'm living, So if anybody wants to find a little bit more about film financing and funding and how that process works, this is hard business stuff. This is real business. They say there's no business like show business, but it is a business. And, when you come here, you guys are watching all the parties and you see us all do that. The essential thing at all these parties, though, is the networking and the connecting. And, you never know who you're going to meet and where you're going to meet them. It's usually in the hotel lobby, and not at necessarily the conference. So, yeah, so I'm here literally trying to get funding for Phil Hartman's Flat TV, which is going to be an epic Hollywood project. I mean, this is not just a no-name, or a new emerging artist is trying to get his thing made, but this is somebody can come in and help us fund this and be with us here at the Cannes Film Festival next year, doing all the stuff I'm doing. So that's one of the things I'm super excited about because he's a Canadian legend. And also I'm here, I have actress clients like Sarah Paleschi, who's I'm finding me connected with horror directors and such here. And we're connecting with anybody in the world who has a project, whether in film or art or books or business that needs publicity or needs to advance. I work with them. So we're here talking to new potential clients. I was also the publicist here at Cannes, my second year at Cannes. I was asked to be the publicist of record for the La Femme Independent Film Festival's 10th anniversary party and fashion show that was here. And that was on the 23rd. That was pretty epic. And also, I've just been enjoying watching. And I really do want to give a shout out to something that all Canadians need to be aware of. That I was able to see. Yeah, that's me being a publicist right there. You can see me in the red on the right. That lady in the beautiful gold dress is Maggie Anwar. She's a power woman founder of the La Film International Film Festival and the party. Standing next to her is Howard Ford, who's an international award-winning director out of the UK. Some of his films are on Netflix right now. Many more of them will be soon. So yeah, these are and the gentleman next to him is a film financer. There you see some of the cast of Escape. These are shots from the party that I was a publicist for. My second year at Cannes, Canadian publicist rocking it. So I'm pretty proud of that. And I also want to mention something I was not involved with, but that literally blew me and many others away here at Cannes. And that was, I'm going to be involved with it now because I went up and met them and I offered to do a pro bono press release across Turtle Island, which is North America, for the absolutely incredible team, and I mean incredible, of Indigenous designers, Indigenous models, Indigenous organizers and musicians and drummers and storytellers and healers who came in a group as part of something called Indigenous Fashion Week, which is doing shows and educating people here at Cannes in the most gentle and amazing way possible. They literally took over the streets of Cannes. Everybody was stopping them to take pictures with their amazing designs. And I'm hoping that I'm in the running for a Sky Eagle design dress for the red carpet for next year, because I went to the fashion show And for the first time ever, it was all red and black and beautiful. And I'm like, all right, that's my dress. So hopefully you'll see me on the red carpet with that next year. But that's the kind of thing that happens at Cannes. You just meet incredible people and, connect with them for all kinds of reasons. But three, huge applause for making us all so proud, from Turtle Island to the people from Indigenous Fashion Week. It was honestly, it gave me chills, and it was a pleasure to be there at the same time to see them take over the streets of Cannes, a country where many of the people came from to colonize our country. And they were welcomed and they were honored, and they said that it was a healing experience, and it was just so much.
Fantastic. What an incredible experience. And it's great to sort of get to live it through you and your own experience. We're going to take a break for some messages and be back more with Tracy Lamourie in just 2 minutes. Stay with us, everybody. Welcome back, everyone, to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. I'm having a lot of fun this morning talking to Tracy Lamourie, who is a publicist, and she has been for the last 11 days in Cannes, being a publicist for films and for projects, and also she's a producer or a co-producer on some films, and so she's been out there trying to get money. Tracy, let's take a step back. How the heck did you get this job? When you and I first met, you were involved in politics. I think it was in Chatham or something like that. How does one become a public relations expert and a publicist and end up on the red carpet at Cannes?
I always say you can, do anything you want to do. People didn't believe me when I said it 10 years ago. Look at me now, kids. I like to point that out. People never believe you when you say it. I single-mindedly did it. Essentially, it's all like anything else. You meet people. When you meet people, you do a good job, and you meet people, they recommend you and they refer you and they notice you. And that's the same in this industry as anything else. I work across industries. I work in startups. I've worked in finance. I've worked in Bitcoin. I've worked in fashion and art and, all kinds of different PR. And as you mentioned, in politics, previous to when I moved to Chatham, because I'm originally a Toronto girl, Dave and I had done work. If you Google me 15 years ago, you would have seen our work against the death penalty and about Jimmy Dennis, who was a wrongfully convicted man on death row. But we ran a 20-year campaign that taught us how to write a press release and make a webpage. We ran a 20-year campaign to help free Jimmy Dennis. Ultimately, he was freed in 2017, and now he's an R&B artist. And it's a story that interesting things are happening that I can't necessarily talk about in that regard, that are kind of going to merge the two lifestyles, which is weird. But essentially, we learned how to write a press release for activist purposes 20 years ago, and 10 years after that, I started using it for politics and other things, that I would, when I went to Chatham, that you mentioned, we got involved with local politics, tried to, right what we thought were some wrongs over there. All of that taught us how to, deal with media, how to write a press release, which is in itself a skill that most people don't know how to have. And when I was 42, it suddenly occurred to me that is a saleable skill. And that's probably around the time we started talking, and I was looking for advice on building a business and how do I start a business. And I was never business minded, but I know how to do what I do. So I started doing what I did, and I started doing it for other people, improving, building their brands. And then when COVID hit, it was a hard stop to about 70% of my work that I built up in entertainment and started speaking engagements and all that. So I suddenly thought, no, again, you got to be strategic, word of the decade, pivot, right? So I guess even though I never thought I was business minded, I learned that I was business minded. And I started to teach people what I was doing, how I had built these brands for other people, how I was, and by building brands, I mean like creating thought leadership, individual people and what they're doing across industries, no matter what it is. I started doing that for myself. And now if you Google me, there's like 5,000, 6,000 interviews of me all over the place talking about building, a brand and how to do it. And I do that really strategically because when I couldn't travel in COVID, I did speaking engagements online, and I did over 250 podcasts and panels and speaking engagements talking about what I do, knowing that on the other side of that, I'd get the invites for in-person things, and people would just notice. Well, Hollywood and people in Hollywood noticed like other people noticed. And somebody told me last year, well, if you have any clients going to Cannes this year, I'm sponsoring a couple of events. Would you want to go? And I thought, why wouldn't I go? So I looked into it and I thought, oh, I'm never going to get accredited. That's crazy. Once I learned that CAN is not like TIFF and it's a very serious and formal accreditation process. And, the bodies of people who have not been accepted or like, in fact, the Toronto Star originally couldn't get a media pass for TIFF back in 85 because they figured you guys aren't movie enough. So I thought there's no way. Now they obviously do. I thought there's no way. But because of all the work that I had done on my bio over all the years, all the, everything that I had accomplished, which is a whole lot when you Google me, we got that accreditation last year. So as soon as we got that, we're like, all right. And it was a big investment to go because we didn't have a $5,000 Armani suit for my husband to wear until he bought it. Until we didn't have the volume yet. So last year was a huge investment. It was almost like instead of a marketing budget, we're going to Cannes. And it was a smart business decision because it showed people that, away what we're doing, the level that we're working at now, and then the contacts and connections that we made here and the new things that we're asked to do. So yeah, how did I get here? Is this, same way I've got into every other table, same way I've got is literally I'm honest, I'm genuine, and I'm not afraid. I'm not
afraid.
intimidated.
Courageous.
Honestly, don't be intimidated. Show up. It's true that half of everything is showing up. The other half is being good at what you do, being confident at what you do, and also, I think key here, because a lot of people are climbers and looking to meet the next guy and advance, is don't be like that. Key to success to me, I think, is I don't need anything from any one person. I don't need to be at that party. I don't need any of that. I don't even need this industry because I know I have, everything will come to me regardless in another industry because I do good work. You know what I'm saying?
So the
not
people
having
that appear desperate aren't successful. Is that what you're saying?
100%, not having that, that's the same in business. I've noticed, now that I have this confidence, because you look at you want to hire me? Well, Google me and you'll see what I can do. Instead of me saying, oh, I'm going to do a 3-hour interview. And if someone says to me now these days, well, would you do can you go and do a whole marketing thing or a whole plan of what you'll do if I hire you? I'm usually like, no, once you hire me, we'll start the strategy. You can Google me and see what I'm all about. And they're like, oh yeah, got it. So it's that confident, and it's the same thing here, but really you can't be confident without being genuine. For some reason, people always say to us here, like I hear in my life in other places, I often hear this, you have really good energy and you're so genuine. And I don't know about the energy part. I have energy, but I don't know about the good energy. But I mean, I am genuine. What you see is what you get. It's no different if we're talking on camera, off camera. I don't care who it is I'm dealing with. I'm only going to be interested in working with them if I like them after I meet them. It's not because of their marketing name or who are they and what they're all about. And yeah, really, life, people just get intimidated. I mean, the same thing is asking you how you've been to, heights that you've accomplished in your life, Brian, at the top of the political game, at the top of business, the Ottawa Senator, how does someone do that? It's by being who you are and just traveling your path and, showing up and doing good work. And
Tracy, where does the energy come from? You're on fire all the time. You haven't stopped playing with your glasses the whole time we've been chatting. What is it? Where does the energy come from?
I think it's just generally I'm passionate about what I do, and the more I do it, and the more I see the results. How can you not be excited about this? What I'm, things I'm able to accomplish for myself that have brought me to the heights that I never should have accomplished. Nobody would have thought we'd be here 10 years ago. And to me, this is only a stepping stone to future, even greater successes that I'm going to bring every single one of my clients with me. That's the thing. It's not a matter of like elevating past here. It's a matter of every door that opens, and not just clients, but friends, opportunities. Every door that opens, don't hold your contacts tight. Don't think, oh, I'm just going to squeeze in, and be open and share and be friendly. Someone walked by here at Cannes today with that little thing. He said, on a person said, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. And I was like, exactly. And I think that's part of it. Truly is. It sounds, but it's part of success is like not always trying to like better the next person, not worry about how you can just literally, but at the same time, be confident, be strategic, go through those doors. And don't be afraid to do it. And you honestly be amazed. Like every day of my life, we're laughing, going, "Can you believe this? Honestly, you believe this shit now? What next?" And that's our life now. And it's because we just keep on going. So,
you wanted to tell me a little bit about this Indigenous Arts and Fashion Festival. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah. So that again, I'm not involved with them in terms of working with them or anything. I was literally, I was just blown away. I heard about it. One of my son-in-law's cousin, who's one of the models, this is how I first heard about it. They said, oh, he's going to be at Cannes too, out of St. Regis, which is the part of Akwesasne, a First Nations community where Ottawa, Ontario, Quebec, and New York meet. But the Canada Indigenous Art and Fashion Festival was put on by something I just learned about there, which is Indigenous Fashion Week out of Turtle Island, Canada and America. And it literally gives me chills to talk about it. They educated, it was a cultural experience, an educational experience in a very gentle educational way. They started by explaining about how in Canada we do a land acknowledgement. So here we are in France, and they said, I want to explain in Canada we do a land acknowledgement to acknowledge, the traditional land that we're on. Then they said, so we want, like, I was going to cry because they're in the land of the colonizers. And they said, so we want to acknowledge the land that we're on and your ancestors and all that. And we want to thank you for welcoming us to your lands. And it was just really, it was a very gentle way of educating. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And then you see these photos, and forget that the fashion were incredible. The designers were incredible. The models were beyond incredible. And they were honored and really noticed here when they did their outdoor shoots, they could barely finish their outdoor shoots because everyone was wanting to come up and take their own pictures and pose with them and such. And apparently I learned there that they do this in September in Paris. So I'm going to learn more about it. And I went up and I met the organizers and I thanked them so much. I said, this is the most powerful thing I've probably seen at Cannes in 2 years. It's wonderful, amazing. And that I'm gonna do I don't even want to say this here. I'm not trying to get props for it, but I do want to do a pro bono. I do want to do a press release across Canada for them because I want all of you to really know what they did here. Oh, and I should mention Martin Scorsese was in attendance. His new movie, Killers of the Flower Moon, tells the story of massacre of Native people. So they're very, very excited about this true story being told. And Martin Scorsese, whole new level of respect for him because I didn't realize how deeply he cares about the community. He was there dressed down in the corner with his family, very unobtrusively in the corner of this room so as not to take the attention away from the absolute stars of the show, which were these incredible people from Turtle Island. Proud of them.
You're going to go back again next year?
Oh, yeah. I told you, summer camp. It's a celebrity summer camp club. We have to now. Everyone's like, so where are you staying next year? You're coming back. Like, and every year is more better than the last in terms of the invites and the connections that you get and where you're going. And, you're always going to miss 50 things while you're doing 50 other things because it's just a giant beast of a thing here, So one lesson we always say, try to plan ahead better next time, try to calendar next time, but it's really impossible once you're on the ground. It's like, oh, you got to go over there because Jane Fonda, like I missed Jane Fonda yesterday. We could have a little room of like 25 people, and I missed that because I was down doing it. There's so many, it's just so many moving parts, but again, the part that we see on TV, which is the fashion, it's really the culmination of the work from before. The part that we see on TV, the red carpets and the awards and the celebrations, is really the culmination and the celebrating of all the work that's been done here at the March to Film in the previous years, where they came and they met people and they sold their project and they casted their project and then they got the distributors for their project. So that's a lot of people come just for those 11 days, the March days, and then they leave because to the heart of the industry, it's that part that you don't see on TV that is so vitally important. And the rest of it, we're all kind of like, oh, we got to go get our red carpet shots. And, but the real, true business of film is done in the March to Film every year. We're
going to take a break for some messages and be back with Tracy Lamourie about Cannes and the film festival in just 2 minutes. Stay with us, everybody. Welcome back, everyone, to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. I'm living a little boy's dream through Tracy Lamourie. Lamourie, I apologize. I keep on using the French pronunciation. A friend of mine who has been a publicist in Cannes for the last 11 days and is now on her way to the Grand Prix in Monaco. What an experience. Tell me a little bit more about what a publicist would actually do at Cannes. Like, what is it you're doing day in and day out on the red carpet and other places?
Yeah, what most of us are doing is like what you're showing. What it looks like we're doing is parties, and it looks like, other than the March to Film, which we've discussed, which is like the March is pretty much like any big, any conference or expo, only instead of product, you see film posters everywhere. So that's the expo, in meetings and wheeling and dealing. So that's that. But the part the rest of it is red carpets and parties. You mentioned some of the big name parties where Getty photographers come out in full force and take entertainment pics. And there you see me on opening night at Cannes, which is, and getting on the red carpet, incidentally, is huge. It's not even the 15,000 people that you come and you're accredited, it doesn't get you on the red carpet. From there, you either have to have an invite, personal invite from somebody in the movie or somebody, whatever, or there's a system where every single person from Tom Hanks to me has as good a chance of getting on the red carpet as not getting on the red carpet. So it's pretty much the luck of the draw at some point. And I got an opening night at the gala, which is full tux and full dress. So that's the photo you saw there. That there you're showing is the Entertainment Monthly article interviewing me just before he went to Cannes.
So what are some of the things you need to know before you go?
Oh, so for that one, it was things like, in that one, I talked about things like footwear for women. Number one, they don't always make sure it's not all high heels, but also if you want to go on the red carpet, what kind of clothing you need to wear, obviously. Also things like, I talk about the different kinds of passes. Like if you are accredited, should you be getting a festival pass or a March to Film pass? You definitely want the March pass because that's where you can, again, where you do business. There's so much to know. Every single country, or I shouldn't say every country, most countries in the world have a pavilion set up here. Canada certainly does with Telefilm Canada, India, Mexico, they all do it. What they're doing in those pavilions is encouraging filmmakers to come to their countries for locations. They're also supporting their filmmakers so you can have meetings and everything like that there. Go in and get a drink or whatever, but mostly they're supporting and trying to draw filmmakers to come to their countries for location shoots and talking about the discounts. They'll give filmmakers to come and film here or there. Interestingly, while here at Cannes, it was hilarious. We're still kind of giggling, but we shouldn't. They did it. Somebody won an award for the best location of the year in the world. A city won the award. Can I get you to guess that city?
No.
You won't guess it. Funnily enough, is where my next business trip is going to be. The exciting metropolis of Calgary.
Calgary, really?
Yeah. And I don't know whether we're laughing kind of right now because Calgary has the worst air quality in the world because of the wildfires at this moment, right? Like that's not a normal thing. But right now they have the wildfires. So we were like, what? That's unexpected. But it's obviously because they have some great locations. They have the mountains and also they probably had some good maybe some opportunities for filmmakers, whatever it was they won this year. So we were joking, it's already our next business trip for a book launch. So we were joking, we're going to leave from here and be like, well, we were just at the Cannes Film Festival and they said Calgary is the #1 film location in the world. So we're going to check it out for you guys. We'll report back right now. So yeah, Calgary just won at Cannes. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Cannes this year. It's like we're taking over.
So you told me a publicist for a specific party. What does and this was for
Magica Films La Femme Film Festival, La Femme International Film Festival's 10th anniversary party and fashion show that was held in conjunction with Magica and Magnificent Films at the Director's Villa here. And yeah, that's extremely high-end event. There was an incredible fashion show around the pool villa, which I have some photos of there. And I believe it was a company out of India too. They had beautiful headdresses and all that. And there was several panels there. The filmmakers, all female, produced and directed, and most of the cast, a film called Black Mass, who's a producer. Black Mass, like mass of a mass of things, is actually a horror, true crime horror hybrid. That I met the producer last year, Michelle Romano, and this year I met Devani Pin, the director, who herself is her first directing, but she's been in over 100 horror movies, so she's a true scream queen, Devani Pin. And but she wanted to bring this story to the screen, which is a horror true crime hybrid. Actually, a story, it's a retelling of the 1978 sorority murders of Ted Bundy, but it's seen through spending a day with the victims. And all the things that they actually did that day. And apparently every single line in it was something real that they had said. So we normally hear the Ted Bundy side of the story. In this movie, you see the back of his head and you see him observing, and everything that he's observing though actually happened that day. It's a horror movie too, disturbing and difficult to watch, but it was really well done. And they spoke at the La Femme International Film Festival. They had a panel, Howard Ford, and a bunch of friends, which is a director friend of ours from last year from the UK, award-winning director. he has the ledge and a bunch of things. Yeah, in this picture, you see Devani Pin in the short red dress. She's the Scream Queen I just mentioned. Her first directorial debut with Black Mass, which will be on screens near you soon. Right now, and if you Google her name, more than 100 acting. The lady in the puffy, beautiful white dress, that's Michelle Romano, the producer of that film. And the lady to the far right is Wendy, one of the actresses from the sorority in that film. And the lady in gold to the left, between the lady in white and red, is Maggie Anwar, the Power Woman Festival founder. All dear, dear friends of mine from last year now.
You know, it's
And
interesting. You talk a little bit about this event and what Maggie said, and I'm going to just quote something that you wrote about. It says, in 2023, jealousy should disappear. I believe it is essential to support each other. I feel very happy when I help anyone succeed, especially another woman, because I feel that her success is my success too. We are here to encourage each other to be better. And La Femme Independent Film Festival is not only about women, it's also about the men who support women.
Yep. Yeah, and she really means that. I mean, I met Maggie last year. It was an honor and pleasure to meet her. And funny, we stayed at the same villa, and we talked maybe over 2 nights. And the next night she came up, she's like, "I just love you so much. And next year you'll be my publicist." And she said, "I don't," we were all drinking champagne. And when she said, "And don't forget, when I say something, I mean it." It's her at the beginning of, con this year. She's like, "You're our publicist. Come to the event." And sure enough, now I'm the publicist for them for all their events around the world. So we're going to be bringing more. It's this kind of glitz and glam that you see here. We're planning a Toronto event soon.
Invite me. I want to come.
100%, Brian. How can we do it in Toronto without you?
Fantastic.
And here yeah.
So how does someone like this Maggie Anwar, how does she become so successful, so powerful?
Well, it's like everything. You just start, and you don't like. She's another force of nature. Like, you just can't stop. I mean, I don't even know which of her many accomplishments she did first, because now when you look at her CV, she's got a CV. She owns a magazine. She owns several film festivals. She's the power and shake of. She's also a model and a director and an actress. And I don't think when you talk about energy, when I come to Cannes, it's like I'm like my people, because everywhere else I go, it's like people are like, "How do you do so much? How do you do?" And here, I literally said to a gentleman the other day, I'm like, "So where are you from?" He said, "Oh, I don't even know. I travel so much." And I'm like, "Hello, now I understand." So there are people who like do a lot of things all the time. It's not just me with the crazy energy.
What an unbelievable experience. So what's next for you?
Well, funnily enough, Calgary. Like I say, everything changes for me on the daily. I mean, I do now about 30-40% of my work in film, probably after this more, because the more people you meet, the more now I'm being asked to do more production stuff. But I'm also, as I said at the beginning, a publicist across industries. So I'm open to interesting, if anybody's hearing this and wants to know about, PR for their business, it's not just all about film. Business people absolutely need publicists too. That's where you hear about thought leadership and everything else.
So if I hired you, what would you do for me?
It depends what your project is. So if you're doing it on the finance side, there's a ton of media opportunities for you to be speaking about finance, about what you do, about your business. So it all depends. Anything that people are, there's like, for example, Fortune magazine. Tomorrow when I go home, or not tomorrow, 3 days from now when I go home, back to my desk and away from film, and I start looking through all the media opportunities on the business side, I will be seeing Fortune magazine with a deadline of 3 p.m. on Fridays, looking to speak to executives who can talk on blah, 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 or financiers who can talk about blah, blah. So part of it is finding media opportunities that currently exist and getting my client to be the one that's spoken of and interviewed. So that, elevates their position. So it can, if they're looking for funding in their business, for example, one of my clients said to me after 6 weeks of working together, you've changed my business and my life. And when I said, "How?" She said, "You've made investors take me more seriously," because they had just done their pre-seed funding and they were going into their seed funding. But now, instead of just having a pretty deck and nice social media, she had 4 media articles, one calling her a disruptor. She had already won an award in another country where they didn't even operate, because I pitched her for that award and she won it. So basically I find opportunities to, depending on the project and what it is, to elevate my client by getting them quoted in media, by getting them, potentially on stages, by getting them awards, and also by connecting. So now that I've done all this, part of my value is, does somebody want to be in film? Do you want product placement in film? Do you want to finance film? Do you want to? I literally am in I have contacts and connections in almost everything. So if somebody wants to get things done, You know, publicists are known as fixers for a reason too. And then on top of it, now I'm in the producer side. So, you know, basically anything that anyone has to do to become known. You have an amazing
Anything
team with-
anyone needs to
to
do to
become known.
become known. You get people
Yeah.
known.
I get you. I elevate and celebrate what you're doing. So no matter what it is you're doing, I elevate it and make you the superstar. So if you're a hairdresser, you come to me and I work with you. Now you're a celebrity stylist. And by the time we're done, you're gonna be doing celebrities' hair and you're gonna be being called a celebrity, just like I'm being called a celebrity publicist now. Because I put, you know, it's not just that I work for celebrities, I know how to become the celebrity, you know, in that way. Like I'm not like a movie star, but the celebrity publicist, the celebrity financier. So, you know, no matter what it is that you do, I elevate it and get you better known for doing it. So across industries, across whatever. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. I think it's fun. There's nothing that's better than at the end of the day, being like, look what we did, got you into Oprah magazine. Look at that, got you this award. Look at that. It never gets old. It's always a new challenge. And PR is a hard job. They always literally, they rate it. If you look at the top 10 hardest jobs, it's always in there, somewhere between firefighter and, you know, who knows what, because it is a lot of pressure and you're only as good as yesterday. You know, you can't rest on your laurels. You got to keep doing it. It's not like buying an ad. You've got to constantly be pitching media and getting results. And, you know, so there's a lot to it. But if you're good at it, there's nothing like it in the world, and I wouldn't trade it. I heard the other day about the guy who invented PR. He's 90 something and still going to his office. And I was like, of course he was. That's what we do. And I'll be doing that too. But hopefully just for a few projects that I really love by that point while I'm, you know, on the beach doing the rest of it.
What an incredible, incredible experience that you're having.
Make it happen, whatever your dream is. I'm telling you, there's nothing that's not. That one's from last year, a year ago, and that was almost a year ago today. And here we are again, and we'll be here a year ago. And there, if you see the little lady in white there, that's Maggie Anwar when I met her last year.
And this year you get business from her. We're going to take a break, a final break, and come back with some concluding comments with Tracy Lamourie about her experience in Cannes as a publicist and as a co-producer in just 2 minutes. Stay with us, everybody. This is fun. Okay, how do you want to finish it? I was thinking maybe about how to build a brand. Is that good?
Sure, yeah. I'll just follow your lead.
Thank you very much.
I'm just trying to see if there's any other final pictures that I should show. I'll see. I'll flip through and see if there's something else I should show. As we're doing it.
And remember anymore. So a whole 11 days of haze.
Okay, here we go again. 15 seconds of silence. Welcome back, everyone, to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. Really interesting chatting tonight with Tracy Lamourie about her experience as a publicist at Cannes, something that I think that we've all dreamt about doing, going to Cannes and seeing what it's all about, the red carpet and everything like that. Tracy, let's take another big step back. You said that you really have done a lot of speaking about, podcasts about, panels about building a brand. So you've obviously built a brand for yourself and you're in the business of building a brand for other people. How do you do that? How do you build a brand?
So number one, I think, and you know, it really starts with, it sounds funny, but it starts with believing that you have something to offer, which people know because they're doing it. People are in business, they know they have something to offer. They wouldn't have opened their, you know, put out their shingle or be in business. But sometimes when you try to translate that to media, like I'll speak with very accomplished people and then I'll say, oh, how come you're not talking to media about that? Or have you talked to media? And they'll be like, and I realize they don't think about that. Well, everyone needs to understand that no matter what it is you do, whether you're a butcher, baker, candlestick maker, financier, or publicist, there are things that we all know based on our jobs and expertise that are not common knowledge. And again, whether you're a butcher, baker, the person who cleans the toilets in the hotel, honestly, every single job has media opportunities, and I see media opportunities for all of them that currently exist, as well as, you know, being able to tell stories and make that they could be the star or that you could offer to media. So essentially, it's letting people know what you do. And a perfect example of that is, you know, for an author, but it's the same for a business. A lot of authors, like a business person, will put, you know, their entire effort into writing this book, a lot of time and money, you know, everything to do it. Now they've got the book and they think they're done. They're waiting for people to come and find it. Well, that's like birthing a baby and then not feeding it. So now you've got to do more. And it's not just marketing. Everyone thinks about marketing and advertising. But PR and publicity is very different from that. So a good example, what's the difference between marketing, advertising, and PR that a lot of people need to understand in order to move forward to build that brand is a good analogy. And I can't remember who said it, but basically, if you look at a man and a woman on a date, or a couple on a date, and the man says to the woman, you know, how brilliant he is and how great he is, and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's advertising. If the man says to the woman how, you know, great she is and what a wonderful conversationalist she is, that's marketing, because he's saying the right thing to the right person. If somebody else comes to the table and tells her what a great guy he is and all that stuff, that's PR. So basically, public relations, you could also consider it performance recognition, which I like a lot better.
So you're a wing woman.
A what?
A wing woman. You're
Right.
a wingman.
Pretty much. Yeah, exactly. Business wise, but I'm always pointing as if this person, like, and it's true, because people will often say, well, I don't know how to speak about myself, or, well, you know, it's framing that bio, it's finding those opportunities. So, you know, it's building a brand. I do for any client what I would do for myself if I wanted to get out there, which I have clearly successfully done over a period of like however many years since you've known me, since I had no money, you know, and was like, you know, lowballing my PR rates to try to get some clients to prove what I could do. And that's how I started. And then I proved it, damn it. And then I kept proving it to now where I'm at the point where I have my pick of clients. I can add several zeros, but I still do some work for less than all those zeros, because it's important to me. Hey, happy birthday, Tommy Chong. By the way, Precious Chong, this is Tommy Chong, Thomas Chong, the famous Cheech and Chong. And by the way, I'm honored that his daughter, who is an extremely talented actress and filmmaker and director in her own right. And if she wasn't Tommy Chong's daughter, nobody would say she's anybody's daughter, because she has a long, long resume. But Precious Chong is actually here in Cannes. She just left for Paris a couple of days ago. And she's shopping a film of her own around. And it's a horror comedy, from what I understand. I invited her to come to the party, the La Femme Independent Film Festival, that I was a publicist for, and I'm very happy that she came. So we were Canadian in Cannes. She honored us with our presence at that party as well. And that was great.
Tracy Lamourie, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And everybody check out the people, again, not the publicist for them, but I'm so proud as a Canadian, the Indigenous Fashion Week people. Check them out, go and give them some love and tell them you're proud of them too.
And if people want to check you out and maybe hire your services, how do they do that?
Oh, I would love that. Absolutely. Tracy Lamourie, you can find, I'm the only one. So you can find me on all socials under Tracy Lamourie. You can find me on my company, lamouriemedia.com, where you can also book a consultation with me or book an appointment to talk about PR media. You can find me on Instagram, Tracy Lamourie PR Media, on Facebook, where I live, Tracy Lamourie. So yeah, I'm on all the places, and I'm more than happy to have a conversation. Tell me you saw me on Brian's show, and it'll be a free consultation.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy Nice, enjoy Monaco, and go crazy in the Grand Prix.
Let's do it. Let's hang out when I get back over there in Canada.
Fantastic. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Don't we all wish that we could be on the red carpet at Cannes? Sounds fun. Good night, everybody.